Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on BeamNG Drive. Today I've got to play around some more with the Firehawk. This thing is absolutely incredible, and to be honest, while destroying it around the Enduro Dome was quite an interesting thing, it doesn't really do a car like this justice. It might just be my favourite mod to have ever come to this game. A combination of just sheer lunacy, a Spitfire engine put into a muscle car and then given an extra pair of wheels at the front is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and there is a huge amount of attention to detail gone into creating this this vehicle. It is unbelievably noisy, as you can imagine when you turn it on. It's kind of you just fly the camera around. One thing I didn't realise until I started with this when I first played around with the mod, but it actually comes with guns. Yes, as you can just about see, deep inside this James Bond contraption style front end, there we go. It's got 4 machine guns on it. Never really used weaponry. There's a couple of vehicle mods I've seen around the place that come with, various weaponry. I think all the planes have rockets and so on. I've never actually played much with it, so I don't know how much damage it's going to cause to a vehicle. We have a car set up to test that one out. The engine itself, I mean, you can kind of see from let's just slow that down in terms of movement, get a little bit better movement. You can kind of see it's all a custom job in here. Lovely detail on the engine. I did actually spot. There you go. You got like your little Rolls Royce, just about make out Rolls Royce plate on the side. Yeah, attention to detail for a vehicle is absolutely incredible. And then of course you've got all of the wheels. If we do fire it up, there we go. We've got plenty of fire coming from the side, as you would probably be wanting, preferably than fire coming out of the engine directly towards your face. From inside, we have got, well, I mean, if you've driven a Moonhawk on this game, the interior is vaguely familiar. And I do say vaguely familiar. While the basic dashboard behind, well, kind of the steering wheel bit, is... Oh, okay, we might have left the handbrake off. It moves around quite a lot, as you can imagine, when you've got all the wheels at the front. So yeah, I mean, the basic dashboard is the same, but you've got all these different switches. There's a gun door, safety door. Does the gun door switch actually work? Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. They are working switches. I wondered if that stuff went off if you turn the engine off, but no. That's really cool. On the dashboard, you have got, I mean, things like parking brake and so on. We've seen those work in cars in the past and whatnot, but on the dashboard, you have got it changes that it'll read out. It can be the time, and that is actually currently accurate to the time at which I am recording this, in England anyway. I guess it goes off the computer clock maybe, and then you can have your ammunition. You get 640 rounds of those. You can imagine you go through them pretty quickly from 4 machine guns firing them. You've also got iron sights. Again, if this isn't the best vehicle mod ever, you've got iron sights for a 6-wheeled muscle car with a Spitfire engine with 4 machine guns and a lot of ammo to use. It is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and yeah, all of these little details are fantastic. Now, first order of business is, of course, to find out how powerful the weaponry is. That makes sense to me. We have seen the car drive after all, and it is actually surprisingly controllable for all of the utterly mad weirdness that's going on with this. It is actually not that bad to drive. Rear-wheel drive with 4-wheel steering. Now, our vehicle of choice for, well, destroying is a little covert, because, you know, why wouldn't we want to test out some destruction on a covert? They tend to fall apart quite entertainingly, so it'll be a good one. Admittedly, aiming with fixed guns isn't always the easiest of things, with their, well, fixed rain of fire, essentially. Shall we test how good the iron sights are? And it is, so have we got the gun doors, guns enabled, it's down on the D-pad. Okay, so we are firing a little bit high, so if we go slam on the brakes, and then we should go down, or maybe we're out of range, slightly, I don't know. There we go, that's more like it. Okay, I think we might have been firing over, yeah, the iron sights, oh, they've definitely got a clonk, are vaguely accurate. Oh, oh, that's a very, very poorly covert. That's a very poorly covert. We've flattened. What on earth rounds are they using? Okay, frame rate had a little bit of an issue going on there with a lot of that. It might be something to do with this car is on fire very badly on fire and very, very broken. It might be like the projectiles that come out of the gun. The more like bullets you fire, I guess the projectiles are proper entities. Holy crap, the damage on that. Interestingly, engine survived, as did wheel axle. I am just going to go and pull this car back so that I don't quite remember where I had the comet. So just to reset it, we will reset you. Our frame rate has taken. Okay, little word of warning. Large amount of use with a gun does, yeah, okay, so I think perhaps the bullet entities stay around, so you fire too many of them, and it goes a little bit haywire. Oh, that's the hood camera looking at a weird angle. So yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful. Again, you've got to bear in mind here that Beam was not actually intended for this sort of stuff. Guns enabled, and brake. Oh, that's very, very, very noisy. That is another thing about the guns on this car. They are very, very noisy. I would say, in terms of exceedingly large amounts of damage being done to cars, that weaponry is pretty damn good. The Covert does still bloody drive. It does a lot of, like, visual damage, and it can do a lot of structure damage if you hit the right points, but actual, like, physical engine damage, I guess unless we hit the engine being quite low is quite difficult to hit with those mounted guns. Yeah, we kind of... well, it doesn't really drive properly anymore. We had a big fireball, which is what we wanted, and you've got... yeah, they tear. Oh, and now we've got another big fireball. I think the fuel tank might have been hit. Judging by the way the fuel is going out of that, I suspect... in fact, I should have looked at the damage indicator. Yeah, the fuel tank's leaked. So we've got another big fire going on over there. Yeah, this thing... bloody dangerous. Bloody dangerous indeed. So let's go for a drive, shall we? Now, I'm playing on a really rather interesting map, this one. This is Cliff Roads. Now, if you've played Beam, chances are you will have played on the Cliff map. You start at the top, or the default spawn point is at the very top of a cliff, somewhere up over there, and the idea is you kind of throw cars down the mountain. There are some scenarios about surviving it or climbing the mountain, and so on and so forth. This mod takes that map, but adds actual roads, actual, you know, settlements. We started off at the dock there. There's a town around the place. It adds, yeah, proper roads to navigate. It turns it into essentially I guess you could say a proper map. It turns it into more of a map to explore with all cars rather than be a hill you throw vehicles down or somewhere for your rock crawlers to try and get up. It looked really, really cool, and from a brief flyover I did, the roads look fantastic. I don't actually know where on earth I've ended up here, but we're going to... oh, we found the town. I will say that this is probably not a good town car. The clutch gets very, very hot very quickly. It's a difficult car to set off in off of low speed stuff. I'm kind of tempted to go exploring down here, but I'm also very well aware we're in a... oh, that's quite a steep one. Can we get... okay, here is the new question. Can we get back up this hill if we go down it? This isn't the way I expected to test this car. I mean, we did the machine gunning test. I was going to find some roads and see how it drove on proper roads. Instead, we're going to throw it off-road and see how a rear-wheel drive Spitfire engine car deals with climbing out of sand. I'm having a feeling the clutch is not... I was just talking about the clutch having issues at low speeds. It's a bit of a difficult engine, as you could probably imagine, to get going. Right, so funnily enough, on the sand... we are a little bit stuck. Can I get a run up, maybe? Crap. Maybe this was a bad idea. I think to answer the question, can the Firehawk climb up the hill? I think the answer is going to be no. Now, there is a couple of downsides, of course, to having extra wheels at the front. If we steer, you kind of add a lot of friction to the vehicle. If I'm steering with those front wheels, you add a lot of friction to the vehicle in terms of trying to go forwards. Okay, we're not getting out of there, so I'm going to do the vehicle recovery thing and sneakily cheese my way out of here a little bit. Just basically teleport myself backwards until we get here. Quick, easy recovery. Yeah, the clutch burns out at low speeds, sort of around, if you're trying to do sort of 20-30 miles an hour, the auto clutch will... well, the clutch will still have to be sort of part in use, and you'll just burn it through long periods of time. So yeah, slow speed stuff isn't really fun for the Firehawk. If you get out of the slow speed stuff, though, it is damn quick. Once you open up the taps on this vehicle, it is immensely immensely fast, kind of scarily fast. It is quite heavy and the brakes are not the best. I saw that a little bit in the Endurodrome. However, I'm slightly nervous. We're doing 80, 90 miles an hour down here, and I am a tad dubious about how on earth the stopping performance is going to be, especially on roads I don't particularly know. It's a little bumpy. It's a little bumpy, these roads, although the Firehawk does okay. It's surviving all of this. Oh, surviving all of this. You know, mostly, anyway. Shall we go this way? Sure, it looks like we're climbing now. Okay, I guess we'll test you as a hill climb car. Again, not the most maneuverable vehicle ever. It is pretty damn long because of the extra axle added on at the front. I mean, okay, it's not the length of a bus, but it is still pretty damn long. It's not the greatest handling vehicle of all time. As I said at the start, you expect this to be weirdly undrivable. It really isn't. The back end is surprisingly planted. It doesn't really move around a lot. And even when you get wheel spin in the car, the back end doesn't really do too much untoward. The front end, though, is not the most responsive thing in existence. So, technical courses, kind of like what I imagine a lot of this road is going to end up being, probably not going to be a favourite of this of this car. Well, the chances are if you're playing around with this, it's not because you want an out-and-out race car. I mean, you don't look at this and think, yes, that is a car I want to take down the most fiddly, windy mountain mountain pass I can find. You're not expecting it to be good, and the fact that it is as drivable as it is pretty good going. It doesn't take much to cause issues with the steering geometry, as you can potentially imagine. Oh, we actually got all the way to the top. That was a surprisingly direct route. I was expecting more. I think this is the top. Okay, we've made it to the top of the map. That was a surprisingly direct route. There we go. You can overlook the map. Somewhere down there, I think, is where we started. Is that the port? No, okay, that's the town. So yeah, we literally just almost went directly straight up the side of the mountain. Anyway, I digressed a little bit. Yeah, it's not full-on sports car performance, but it really isn't as absurd as you might potentially expect. You know, a lot of power. I don't know how much power it is producing. Don't have a clue. But I do know it will get to 130 and 140 in places where you don't quite expect it to, and that's a little sketchy. Brakes do lock up pretty damn easily if you're playing around with no assist, so you're going to have to be very mindful of those, and you're going to want to be stopping nice and early for just about everywhere. How far, this is a new game, how fast dare I drive the Firehawk down this road? What top speed can we get? Can we crack 100 on a mountain road with a six-wheeled, plain-engined beast? I think that's going to be asking for trouble, but I'm going to give it a damn good try. Oh, this is a really cool road. So far, I'm very impressed with this road as a road to drive down. My card choice is not making life easy. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Car down. Car upside down, down. Oh, no, not the engine. Ouch. Actual, like, structure-wise, that did pretty well. I'll give it that. Actual full-on... So let's just flip the car over. I mean, the drive shaft's gone. The engine is surprisingly okay. I mean, it wouldn't have been a fun crash. Would not have been a fun crash considering where your head is, but could have been worse. All right, let's go. That's a really dangerous bit of road. It's a dangerous road. At the end of the day, it is a dangerous road around here trying to carry speed, and that's why we don't try and carry too much speed in your silly muscle car. Some cool, like, little tunnels we've got going on. Oh, the brakes. Oh, please stop. There was a panic grab of the handbrake there, because it really did not look like it was going to come to a halt. I would like a little bit more visibility if I'm going to try and push this to 100 plus on these roads, because I just don't know where the corners are going. I don't know where are the tight corners, where are the fast-flowing corners. In terms of roads to drive down, yeah, this is a great one for a sports car. This vehicle, it doesn't suit it. There is also the other issue of, at low end, there is absolutely no power, and at high ends you have all of the boosts you could imagine. I say high end, I mean it only revs to 3,000 RPM this engine, but low down you get very little. Up the top you get the huge bucket load of sudden acceleration, sudden quite dangerous acceleration. We've got a tunnel going through the mountain, which is awesome, by the way. A little bit of tunnel blasting with a Spitfire engine again, like I say some strange things in, well, when I'm doing these videos. That's up there. That is up there with the peculiar things that that I have actually been doing in games. Yeah, I love that this car exists. I love that this vehicle is in the game because it's so mad. And yet still, you know, surprisingly tame. Yeah, if you clonk a wall, it's very easy to bend wheels and snap wheels. In some ways, from my little bit of playing around with this vehicle, I'm kind of surprised that on the Driven Till Destruction that it didn't have issues or didn't fail due to steering related issues. A clonk on the barrier can very easily misalign wheels. You'll end up often having the geometry quite well out. And of course, it won't take long for those bumps, those hits around a destruction circuit to cause the car grief. I mean, it's always always potential to be a weak point of a vehicle like this. While, yeah, sure, I guess you have got a spare set of steering wheels at the front. If ones start getting bent up in such a way that they then become more of a nuisance than a help, having that extra set is not necessarily going to be particularly helpful. But yeah, you've got to be careful with the front wheels, clonking over stuff, especially clonking into barriers. Oh, God. No, please turn. And yeah, it struggles to get slowed down a little bit and does struggle to get turned, but for all of those struggles, you get such an amazing vehicle that it's definitely worth. It's absolutely worth it to have a go with it. As I said, this is quite possibly one of my favourite mods on Beam. Full stop. Oh, that's broken my rear suspension. Yeah, it's certainly not the strongest car you ever did drive. However, it is such an awesome vehicle, and remarkably sane for such a mad little contraption. And we saw what it did to a Covert. That poor Covert does not stand a chance. In terms of sheer firepower / damage power, this thing is gonna be pretty tough to beat. Pretty damn tough to beat. So yeah, I highly recommend you go and check this out. Also, this map is incredible. I mean, this road, as I said, this is not suitable for my car particularly. This road is an amazing road. It's got some high-speed bits, it's got some very, very low-speed bits. It's bumpy without being car-destroying. Your car gets thrown around without it being, well, like the Enduro-drome. It doesn't shake cars apart, but you know you're not on an ultra-smooth racetrack. You've got some very interesting elevation changes. There's some off-road trails if you've got a better car than this for off-road exploring that you can go on. I don't know if there's rock crawling stuff around. There could well be all sorts of bits and pieces. We are just about coming down towards sea level now. I think if my flyover showed correctly, I think we might loop our way back. Oh, there's the port. I've actually found that. There's still the barbecue going on. You know what? That's as good a point to end as any. The Covert barbecue, it burns on. Yeah, check out this map, check out this car. Both of them are absolutely fantastic. I shall, of course, link them both in the description of this video, so you can download them, have a go with them yourself. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.